During our development, we recognize some phases of the development. So in the first phase is very simple one. In fact, we just want to touch the technology. We use, in fact, very small biomass share. But the second phase is more advanced. When we applied the dedicated co-firing installation, I will show what is the difference between these phases. The more advanced solution, the third phase, is the when we apply the 100% biomass boilers, very specific units dedicated only for the specific biomass. But also we recognize some fourth phase. What does it mean? We notice some technology response upon the changes. So this is why I explain the issue about the legislations and obligatory increase the agricultural biomass. Is not only a legal issue, but it also have some consequences in the technology. So we recognize some fourth phase as a response of this change. Okay, so the first phase, there are in fact simple technical solutions. The first question was how does it work, if it is possible to use the biomass in our power plant system. So we start combustion with very low mass of the biomass, from 5, the range from 5 to 10%. We use, we call it very easy biomass. Easy means wood biomass, less problematic biomass in the first step, sawdust and wood chips. But the second step, the question was, can we go with the higher shares? So we try to increase the biomass share in the fuel mix. It was between more or less 15 to 20. One example was 30%. The question is how behave not only wood but also agro biomass and pellets made of agro and wood biomass. We carried out the trial and demo test to touch the reality of the co-firing. And the step first was the safety, because it is very obvious. If you increase the biomass share, you increase the possibility of some undesired causes like explosions, fires. So let me share some examples of the first step. As I said, the simplest one. So you can see it was very simple biomass collection, just under the clothes, sometimes without any shed, without any building, silos, and so far. The second thing, just message, very short snapshots from the transportation line. You can see, for example, the wood sawdust there is transported by a belt conveyor, and it was mixed with coal. We call it a sandwich, and after that you can see the tank. As I said, this is the place where we have to spend your biomass mixed with coal. You just fulfill your tank and you have to spend it. So still first phase, but the second step is change the biomass kind. We use not only the sawdust, the wood biomass, but also we use some another ones like sunflower husk, straw, but also exotic biomass from our point of view. That's mean that the palm kernel shell or cocoa shells, and the step safety issues. I will show some examples just now. You can see examples of, for example, the HRD system. It is a fire extinguisher combined with control system, and if they detectors notice some fire or explosion, they turn on the extinguisher, for example, inside the transportation system, inside the mill. You can see here. Another solution is the foggers, or a water droplets beam installed in some transportation system or even in a mill. You can see here inside zone of the mill after some processing of biomass and coal. Okay, the second phase, as I said, more advanced. What was the reason? Because we want to increase the mass share of co-fired biomass to 60%. If we consider only the first phase, it was not possible to increase. The maximal share was 30%. So the obvious, very reasonable was to jump into the second phase. Another thing was to have ability to control the biomass stream anytime. Even you want to switch off the biomass stream on the one moment, you have to have some specific transportation system. And also the reason was to implementation of the flail hammer. You can see on the right hand side is a middle age flail mill. They just crack the biomass to separate the grains from the straw. Of course, the flail hammer is much more advanced, but I want to show what is the main idea. And these flail hammers show some lower energy consumption. So it was the point in the time to switch into the second phase. So the few examples, few picture of this second phase. So this is more advanced technology. As you can see, it was not biomass collected just only on the floor, but you have to build the silos. You have to build some pneumatic transportation line. You can see here is a line, pneumatic transportation lines. They transport the biomass from the tanks, from the silos into the boiler. Also, if we want to increase the biomass share, we have to change the technology of burning. This picture show the burner retrofitted to co-firing. In the center, you can see the pipe of biomass transportation, and it can be used in a higher biomass share. The second phase is also issue of the grate boilers. You can see example of the technology, very interesting. The grate boiler is very sensitive of the fuel mixed on the grate. What does it mean? We have to prepare biomass just before the grate, and prepared, we call it, as I previously said, the sandwich that can we burn in a controlled way. The second phase is also very specific, the dedicated co-firing installations. You can see some example of the